Hello, friends. It's Nikki, and welcome back to my messy bookshelf. Today is day one of Big Book Summer. This morning, Sue and Melinda from Sue Jackson and A Web of Stories dropped their announcement videos for this year's Big Book Summer. And Big Book Summer is an event that has been taking place on Sue's blog for 14 years, I believe, and here on BookTube for about 5 years. And the premise is simple. The whole point is to pick up a big book, 400 pages or larger, during the summer. It only has to be one, and you have participated in Big Book Summer. Now, some people use this as an opportunity to pick up some of the great giant chunkers on their shelves, like I will be doing. But it doesn't have to be a mammoth book, just a big book. And this will be my third year participating, and I am so excited. It's one of the few things I look forward to in summer because I hate summer. So I thought today I would share the plans that I have for Big Book Summer, as well as a few recommendations ranging from normal big books all the way to mammoth-sized big books. So I will jump into what my plans are for Big Book Summer. So, in addition to the normal, regular books that I plan on reading throughout the summer, I have a couple of chunkers here that I am using Big Book Summer to get through. All of them are on my 50 before 50 list. So, if I can get through these three books, I will have made progress in my 50 before 50 challenge. So, I'm excited. I got two events and the same book, so it's working out well for me. Well, it will have worked out well if I actually get through these books, and I intend to. So the first book that I have here is Pamela by Samuel Richardson, and this is a book that I have been interested in reading since I read The Blue Stockings in, what was it, April? It wasn't People April. Yes, it was for People April. And this is about a young maid who is trying to not give in to the advances that her mistress's son is making on her. And gasp, that's so unheard of in this time period. She's daring to assert herself. So I know this was supposed to be super scandalous back in its day, and I am doing a buddy read with Candy from Down the Rabbit Hole, and I'm excited for this one. So we are doing a buddy read of this in June, and like I said, I'm very excited about that. The next one I have here is probably one of the more well-known chunkers, and this is a book that I have read before, but I am also doing a buddy read of this with Candy, and this one is going to be stretched out for the whole summer. And I have here none other than War and Peace by Tolstoy. And this is a book about a few families, different families, during the time when Napoleon invaded Russia. And it is quite the chunker. I did enjoy it when I read it, but I don't know if I got the full gist of everything that was going on back when I read it, because it was about 15, 16, 17 years ago, and I will be returning to this book. I always said I wanted to reread it, and I will be doing so with Candy. So, the next one I have here, the last one that I am sharing right now, is another buddy read, and I am going to finally pick up Lonesome Dove by Larry McMurtry, and I want to see what all the fuss is about. I want to see what all the fuss is about and why it's so many people's favorite book. And I will be buddy reading this in June for June on the Range. So I'm very excited to get to this one, and I don't really know what it's about. All I know is it is about, I think, two cowboys or yeah, this is making plans, and I don't even know I don't even know what the book is about. All I know is supposed to be about friendship, and it's supposed to be a beautiful book. And I want to know why so many people love this book. And I am wanting to try my hand at westerns. And June on the Range seemed like the perfect time, and I have a buddy to read this with. And not a booktuber, so I will not share their name. Um, but yes, I have Lonesome Dove here. And that's it for what I have planned for right now. I think once I see how well I am doing with all of these, I will maybe add more to the mix. So we shall see. So, starting off with some recommendations that I had, I wanted to share books that I don't think I've ever talked about before. So, the first one I have here, and I'll start off with the big books, not the mammoth sized books. And the first one I have here is The Ladies of the Secret Circus by Constance Sayers. And this is a family saga set around one family's women, and there is sort of a dual timeline thing going on, and there is a family curse. And the women in this family used to perform in a circus, a very, very mysterious and successful circus. And in present day, one of the descendants of this family, her fiance, disappears on their wedding day. And she is trying to search for the reason why, figure out why this happens, and her searches lead her to her great grandmother's journals. So it was a wonderful, dark, twisty, atmospheric book, and I loved it. I loved it. If you love books set around circuses or fairs or anything like that, pick this one up. Pick this one up. The next one and what was the page count on this one? This one is 452 pages. So just over big book. And the next one I have here is called Once Upon a River by Diane Setterfield. Another very dark and twisty novel. This one starts off with a very cozy little pub, and there are a bunch of locals sitting around. It's a stormy night, and suddenly a stranger bursts into the pub carrying a dead little girl. And the girl revives. And there are 3 girls who are missing. So, we don't really know. I don't want to share too much. It is a very twisty, turny novel set around a river. It's not the Thames. I don't remember what river it was, but it does take place in England. Oh, it is the Thames. An ancient inn on the River Thames. Yes. Extraordinary events take place. This one, I loved it. I loved it so much I started reading a bunch of other books by the same author. I didn't like the 13th Tale. I thought it was weird. But I loved this one. Really recommend that one if you want a dark, twisty novel. All right, moving on to slightly more than big book. Oh, sorry, I didn't share the page number for this. This one is 460 pages. The next one I have here is one I recently read, so I guess I have talked about this one before. Babel by R.F. Kuang. And I just read this one. If you are a fan of dark academia or languages, linguistics, historical fiction, you will enjoy this one, I think. Another one, super atmospheric. It's got that whole dark academia vibe, and it's about a group of not exchange students, but a couple of non-natives to England who are given the opportunity to study at the fictional language school at Oxford. And There's a bit of magical realism going on, but the whole thing is about languages and the power that words have. And there's also a lot about colonialism in here, and I just loved this book. I loved this book. Very powerful if you are interested in the effects that colonialism has on languages, on people, on countries, on commerce. And it's all centered around language and Oxford. So it was fantastic. I love this one. This one is, oh, sorry, that's, what is it? Sorry. I'm so sorry. If I remember, I will cut that part out. Oh my goodness, it is 536 pages long. Moving on to an author that I love and I never hear talked about. This one is a historical fiction, sort of, I guess a mythological fiction, and this is Helen of Troy by Margaret George. Margaret George is one of my favorite historical fiction writers because her books are so well researched. I almost shared a couple other of her books. Actually, someone just commented on one of my videos the other day that they saw the books on the shelves behind me, and I was like, no one else has ever noticed those books before. So I love her writing. This one obviously centers around Helen. And it's shorter than the other ones that I have read by her, so I thought I would share this one because I didn't want this to be all about the mammoths. I do have a tendency to love the mammoths. And funny enough, I read this so long ago, I found a parking ticket in here from 2008. So that was funny. That was funny. Where are we at? This one is a bit bigger. And oh my goodness, goes right up to the last page. Almost. Oh my gosh. 638 pages. And I loved this one. I also loved her Mary Queen of Scots one, and her Henry VIII one, and her Cleopatra one. The Cleopatra one has a, I think, mini series that was based on it, and it was wonderful. It was wonderful. All right, the next one I have here is called Mother of the Believers by Cameron Pasha. And this one is a historical fiction telling the story of the Prophet Muhammad from the point of view of his youngest wife, Aisha. And I loved it. It was wonderful. Such a unique way to tell that story. And I loved learning about the practices and the culture and how Muhammad sort of came into prominence during this time. So, yeah. Story about the birth of Islam from the point of view of one of his wives. And it was wonderful. I really love this one. This one, bigger. We're getting bigger here. This one is 527 pages. Moving on to, a few bigger books. I have three left. This one I read many years ago. I want to say it was when all the buzz around this book happened, I picked it up. And this is The Luminaries by Eleanor Catton. And I wish she had more books. I think this was probably my first literary fiction that I ever read. It's literary, but it's also a mystery, and it's also a zodiac. It was so unusual and unique, and I loved it. It's set in New Zealand during the gold rush in New Zealand. And one night, there's always these stories that start off with a dark and stormy night. A bunch of mysterious things happen, and it sets off a chain of events, and the whole time we are trying to figure out a bunch of mysteries as well as a ghost story. I don't want to say too much because the way that it's formatted and the way the chapters are formatted kind of helps tell the story. So I don't want to share too much. But I remember loving this one. I really loved this one. I wish she had a lot more books. As far as I know, she only has one or two other ones, and neither one of them piqued my interest when I read the blurbs. So, the Luminaries. This one is, let's see, 830 pages long. So we're getting into mammoth territory here. And then the next two I have here, I couldn't decide which one to share. They are both by the same author, and I am returning to historical fiction. So another historical fiction author that I have never heard mentioned on BookTube, and I just think I value writers who are writing historical fiction who do their research. Even if they're, deviating from what actually happened, make the people realistic to the time that they are living in. And this is The Sunne and Splendor by Sharon K. Penman, and this is the story of Richard III. And in this one, she sort of tells a different story about Richard. He has been maligned ever since Shakespeare wrote the play Richard III, and this is sort of a different take on what may have happened with the princes in the tower. But yeah, this is all about King Richard III of England. And then the other one that I have that kind of got me interested in her in the first place was When Christ and His Saints Slept by Sharon K. Penman. And this is part of a very wonderful series about the Plantagenets in England. I was obsessed. When I was a teenager. And I did briefly go study history in college before I dropped out and went and, enlisted. So that was my thing. I was all about the historical fiction all the time. And yeah, this is the story of when Henry I died and tried to give the throne to his daughter, Matilda, or Maud, as she is sometimes known, and the betrayal that happened by her cousin Stephen, who took the throne. And this series was epic and wonderful, and all of the books were nice and chunky, so it took me a while to get through all of them, and I loved every single one of them. There's brutal parts, there's love, there's, history, there's battles. If you love historical fiction, check out Sharon K. Penman if you haven't already. And Margaret George. But yeah, these are some recommendations. So these are more mammoth sized. Let me see what size, or how many pages. Oh my gosh, I'm wasting so much time. This one is 931 pages. And, if you're up for a challenge. And this one is 746 pages. And yeah, there's so much to enjoy in these series. Yeah. But these are just some recommendations. Like I said, I didn't want to share books that I haven't read fully. And I also wanted to share books that I don't talk about often. So I hope you would consider checking one of these books out and letting me know how you like them. And, you could tell me how crazy I am for trying to get through Lonesome Dove and War and Peace in the same summer, but it's going to be fine. It'll be fine. But yeah, I thank you so much if you made it to the end of this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care.